Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for working in such a bipartisan way to convene today's hearing and your support through the entire process. In Michigan, we have seen firsthand the devastation and community experiences when it can't trust the water coming out of the tap. In Flint, thousands of families were exposed to dangerous levels of lead in their water, and many residents, unfortunately, still use filters and bottled water to ensure that their water is safe. Just over 100 miles north of Flint, residents of Oscoda, Michigan, have spent years voicing their concerns about another serious environmental and public health threat in their drinking water, this time from highly fluorinated chemicals known as PFAS. These chemicals are widely used in products like non-stick cookware, water-repellent clothing, stain-resistant upholstery, and many firefighting foams. They are extraordinarily persistent, meaning they don't break down naturally in the environment. They accumulate in the soil, in our water, in our food, and too often in our bodies. And they are toxic, and they are not well regulated. I'm grateful that Mr. Larish is for being here today to talk about the impact of contamination on his community in Oscoda and the challenges residents face around the former Wordsmith Air Force Base. Unfortunately, Oscoda is not alone. There are contaminated sites throughout Michigan and the entire nation. Sandy Winstelt of Belmont, Michigan, who is here today and I met with earlier, was exposed to one of the highest concentrations of these chemicals that have been identified in the United States, and now has PFAS levels in her blood that are more than 750 times the national average. Tobin McNaughton is also here. Her 2-year-old son, Jack, this beautiful young boy, has what may be the highest documented PFAS levels known for children at 484,000 parts per trillion. He's just 2 years old. Families in Parchment Township, Michigan, were also forced to switch to bottled water earlier this summer, and now they fear that their children have been poisoned since their birth. As a senator from the state of Michigan, a state surrounded by the Great Lakes, the world's largest source of fresh water, I'm appalled by the number of water crises that we have faced. My constituents and people across the country are facing this crisis and are also fed up as well. Mr. Chairman, I request the permission to enter into the record a few statements from Michiganders who are urging swift action on these fluorinated chemicals without objection. I asked for this hearing because I believe that everyone in this great country should have access to safe drinking water, and I want to do everything I can to ensure that the federal government is effectively managing this crisis. Soon, the Senate will approve an FAA bill that includes my language to remove federal mandates requiring the use of these chemicals in firefighting foams. And I've also worked with my colleagues to urge EPA to swiftly establish national enforceable standards to enable longer-term cleanup. I look forward to hearing more from the EPA today. These are important bipartisan steps that we are taking today, but they are certainly just the beginning. I look forward to hearing more today about what federal agencies are doing and what more they can do and what Congress must do to identify contamination, prevent exposure, reduce harm to human health, and to expedite the cleanup and assistance to the affected communities. Mr. Chairman, before I introduce our panel, I know one of our colleagues, Senator Harris, would like to give an opening statement without objection. If she could take that time, and then I will introduce each of the panelists for their statements. Senator Harris.
Thank you.